Tonight, 1A, 2A, 3A previews. Tomorrow night, 4A, 5A previews on Moving the Chains. Kevin Thomas alongside John Epps. John, I don't know about you. I've been looking at the brackets all day, all week. I'm excited to kind of give a rundown of what we think is going to happen, especially starting this weekend in high school football.
It's going to be pretty good stuff.
Yeah, a lot of big matchups. We're going to start, I think, John, do you want to start in the lower state here? Is that what we kind of decided?
Yeah, let's do that with...
Okay, give me a quick second here to get this shared out on our Twitter page. If you guys watched our Twitter video and then came over, really appreciate it. We couldn't show you all the graphics we wanted to on there, so I had to do it kind of all on Facebook this time. So if you're watching on Facebook, came from Twitter, we appreciate it. And just be sure to like, share, tell all your friends. Everybody should get some good info, right? So everybody tune in to Moving the Chains on Facebook. That's what we're doing right now. So John, let's get it going here in 1A. Start the lower state. What we're going to do here, kind of guys, is we're going to run through. Oh, sorry, that's the upper state of 3A. There we go, lower state. I'm going to give you a region they're out of, the record of the team. Then kind of give you a quick breakdown. So 1A is a little bit weird if you guys don't know about it. There's 4 teams that get a bye in the lower state, 4 teams that get a bye in the upper state. It's just the number of teams calls that is kind of an issue. Just need more teams in 1A, in all honesty, John. You'll see some very weird things here as far as records go, and just some other things here momentarily. You're gonna love how to do some of the 1A stuff. So here in this top lower state matchup, we have Military Magnet, 3 seed out of Region 4 with a 1-7-1 record. They'll be playing Cross, 3 seed out of Region 5 with a 5-4 record. John, do you know anything about these two teams? If you do, I'll be very impressed because I have nothing for you on this one.
I really don't.
That's all you got? Okay. Second matchup here, a little more local to us from our hometown, at least my hometown at least. Lakeview, the 2 seed out of Region 6 at 6-4, will host Denmark Olar, the 3 seed out of 6 seed out of Region 3 at 4-6. John, Lakeview's going to win this ball game, and they may win by 50.
You expect them to for sure. And Denmark Olar, I believe it was last year they had a pretty good season. Obviously at 4-6 this year.
Right.
Not having a great year, but Lakeview. We saw a couple times this year where Lakeview got beaten. We're thinking, man, that's not the Lakeview I know of.
Right.
You expect Lakeview to win, but these two teams just not having the year they want to have. And the winner of this game will go to Branchville.
Yes.
The number 6 ranked team in 1A next week.
Yeah. And I'll tell you, you'll see in a lot of these 1A games, I think, next week, John, is that there's going to be a lot of blowouts in the first round, which you don't expect in the playoffs.
First and second round.
But, I mean, it's just, like we said, 1A is just struggling to have enough teams that are competitive. As you'll see, we've already had a 1-7-1 team in there, a 4-6 team. You guys are going to love this next matchup here between Hemingway and Scotts Branch. Hemingway is the number 3 seed out of Region 6. They are 0-10 on the season. I am not making that up, John.
No, I saw it.
They have not won a football game, and they are hosting a game in the playoffs against number 4 seed Scotts Branch, who is 2-8, so not much better there.
So this is their chance. And, hey, what better time for your first win than the first round of playoffs?
They always say just get in, maybe you can make some noise.
Yeah.
I don't see an 0-10 team making some noise here, but I think Scotts Branch wins that ball game. But I mean, it doesn't matter. Neither one of them is going to beat C.E. Murray in the next round, really.
Yeah, so. C.E. Murray's the 5th ranked team in the state. Now this game will be played on Thursday. Down at Scotts Branch. Why that is?
Hemingway.
Hemingway.
Don't forget Hemingway's hosting an 0-10.
Why that is, who knows? But they will have an extra day to rest up whoever does win that game for C.E. Murray next week.
Yeah, in the final game of the lower state, bottom half of the bracket, we have the number 2 seed out of Region 4, St. John's at 3-6, and Bethune-Bowman out of Region 5 at 2-8. So, I mean, I'm just tired of. I want somebody with a winning record. We've read out one team with a winning record so far, John, in this first round. This game is going to be pitiful. I mean, really, I think in 1A, there's no point even talking about it until really round 2 or round 3. But that's when some of the good teams actually play each other.
I think really round 3, the winner of this game will have to go to Green Sea Floyd's. Mm-hmm. They've had a terrific season. They're the number 2 team in 1A and the highest ranked team in
the defending state champion also.
Yeah, so you look at go through just here in the lower state, you jump ahead for the 3rd round. We're lined up to have a C.E. Murray Green Sea Floyd's matchup, number 2 versus number 5. that's that's got a little bit of intrigue to it. And then on the upper half of the bracket, we will most likely see a Branchville versus Baptist Hill matchup. That game will be hosted by Branchville. So the way that it lines up, you think you're going to have, and now let me not get too far ahead of myself. Lakeview, if they knock off them or OLR, they will play Branchville.
Yes.
So that's 7-6. That's a game that you could see Lakeview winning that game.
Yes.
But Green Sea Floyd's, if they take care of their business, the best team that they're going to see in the lower state will be 5th-ranked C.E. Murray. So you really like Green Sea Floyd's to get back to Benedict.
Yeah, I think Green Sea is the favorite here in this lower state for sure. I mean, just that team, like I said, they are very good. They've beat Lakeview already this year, I believe. They've just, they haven't seen a lot of competition at their level. So we'll see how that goes. And I guess we move up now to the upper state. John, is that cool with you, or do you have any more comments on this lower state action?
No, the only thing that I think will be really worth watching here is if Lakeview does knock off Branchville. If they get upset, and this is obviously assuming that Lakeview wins first round, but Lakeview is able to upset Branchville, ride a little bit of momentum into that next game against probably Baptist Hill. They would host that game against Baptist Hill.
Yes.
That could give them some momentum going into that Green Sea Floyd's game. So we'll see. It's the intensity really isn't going to ratchet up until probably the third round.
Yep. So thank you guys for tuning in here. Kevin Thomas alongside John Epps moving the chains here. If you're watching on Facebook or on Twitter, or I guess not Twitter, on Facebook, let us know if it's blurry. I think it looks pretty clear from what I can tell, but if we're having some issues with the screen stuff, just let me know. If you have a question about a team or if you've seen a team play that we haven't, feel free to chime in. Obviously, John and I have not seen a lot of 1A football this year. As you will see, there's not really a lot of upstate 1A teams. There's teams that get classified as the upstate, but they're not technically upstate, as you'll see right now as we get into that half of the bracket there. The upper state, I mean, you got teams like McBee, who I don't consider upstate, Lamar, just teams that they're not really upstate like we think of as the upstate, John.
Yeah.
So here, our top matchup here in the upper state out of Region 2, 5-4 Great Falls against out of Region 3 Rich Spring Minetta at 6-4. We then see McBee out of Region 2 at 2-8 against Dixie out of Region 1 at 1-9. So big matchup there. And then go down into Ware Shoals out of Region 1, 3-7 against Hunter Kennard Tyler, 3 region, 6-4 record. And then McCormick with a 4-6 record takes on Wilson Elko with a 3-7 record. John, these games, I mean, like we said, it doesn't matter. I don't think he wins these because I don't see anybody up in this part making a move past the second round.
No, it really doesn't seem like it.
Yeah.
Again, same story here. Potential second round matchups. You would have number 8 versus number 9 in Rich Spring Minetta at 8, Whitmire at 9. That's that's a pretty good matchup, and Whitmire will be hosting that as well. So that could be a good game there. And then you've got where Wagner Sally should be able to take care of their business. They would meet Lamar in the third round. Lamar, who just went right through their schedule last year, suffered a loss this year. So that Wagner Sally Lamar game, that could be a really, really interesting game being at Wagner Sally. And then, the way it lines up, you're probably going to have, you just go by the numbers, you're probably going to have a Wagner Sally versus Blackville Hilda game for the upper state title. Yeah,
that sounds right. I mean, I think my favorite in upstate might be Lamar.
I think it's hard to go against.
Yeah, Lamar's just been there, done that so many times.
Yeah.
It's hard to not think those guys are going to win it. But like you said, Wagner Sally being undefeated, that's very impressive. And even this Whitmire team from up here has had a very good season. So 1A, this is not going to be our best expertise or our best breakdown, so we don't know a lot about it. So, John, you ready to get to 2A?
Yeah, let's do it.
Yeah.
So we'll say, and I think I like your take with Lamar. I see Lamar winning the upper state. Green Sea Floyd's the lower state.
Yep.
I think Green Sea Floyd's wins.
I think you're spot on with that. That's exactly what I'm taking there. I think Lamar, Green Sea Floyd's repeats as the state champion. Hunter Allen agrees. Hunter Allen has Green Sea Floyd's there. I think you're exactly right, Hunter. That team, they used to be really bad. And I don't know if you guys know that, but they used to be terrible, but they really had a big resurgence here the last few years, and they I think they're going to take a state title this season. So, want to get back out of here, and before we go to 2A, once again, Kevin Thomas, John Epps here on Moving the Chains. Thank you guys for tuning in and watching. Just want to give a big shout out to our sponsor, the George Agency. If you guys need some insurance, need anything like that for yourself or for your business, call my friends Bradley and Richard and those guys down there. The open enrollment is now going on, starting November 1st. So, give them a call if you're a seasonal worker, or maybe you're a something like that where you just need insurance that doesn't come from your job. Give them a call. They can help you out if you're hospitality season or whatever it is. Or if you're a business owner, they can help out your whole company. So give them a call at the George Agency. Check them out on Facebook or on thegeorgeagency.net. So let's get into the 2A brackets here, John. We'll start with lower state here for 2A. Now, this we could see some good ball games here, John. I think this lower state is very I think lower and upper state really for 2A. This is a very I think there's one team that's really good, and there's a bunch of teams who are like pretty good right under that, in my opinion.
Yeah.
If that makes sense here. So, yeah, Hunter, exactly. Greasy Floyd used to be Lattice homecoming. Greasy Floyd's was pretty bad back in the day, but they have turned the corner here. So
yeah, it's never good when you're always on the schedule of somebody's homecoming.
Yeah. So lower state, number 1 seed here to start off the lower state, as you see there, is Timberland. Always a good program there.
And that, really a basketball school right here, Timberland.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, and I guess they
well.
had some games canceled. I've got them at only a 6-2 record, John.
That's
Is that
correct.
what you're seeing?
That's
okay.
correct.
Okay, so Timberland will take on Hunter Allen's Latta Vikings we just mentioned there. Latta finished with the 6th seed out of Region 7 at 3-7. Kind of a tough year there for the Vikings, and it's not going to get any easier here in round 1. Next ball game here, we have number 2 seed out of the Region 7, Mullins Auctioneers at 7-3. They're going to take on a perennial 2A power out of Region 3, Region 5, who got the 3 seed this year, John. That's Bamberg Earhart with a 7-3 record. That's going to be a tough ball game there for the Auctioneers. This next team I think is my favorite one in lower state 2A. Barnwell, the number 1 seed out of Region 5, 10-0. We saw this team play for state last year after winning lower state. I think they're going to be a tough team to beat this year as well. They're going to take on Hannah Pamplico, number 4 seed out of Region 7 at 5-5 this year. Below that, we'll have Burke at 2-9 taking on Eau Claire at 1-9. So you get some weird matchups here in 2A as well, but not as many as you saw in single A there. We get Calhoun County at 4-5 taking on Johnsonville at 3-6. Woodland at 6-3 taking on East Clarendon at 7-3. And then here's kind of the talk of the town this past week. It's been Oceanside Collegiate. I don't know if you guys follow high school football that close or not. So Oceanside Collegiate is a school, one of those charter schools, and they're actually 9-0, but they played some ineligible players for a couple games, had to forfeit 4 ball games, so now have a 5-0 or 5-4 record. They dropped from the number 1 seed in their conference to the number 4 seed, and I feel bad for Andrews. Andrews, the number 1 seed out of Region 7 at 8-1, now has to face the technically number 4 seed out of Region 5, the 9-0, now 5-4 Oceanside Collegiate. I think they're the Dolphins. Is that right, John? Does that sound right? Sharks? I don't know, something.
I think that's a Dolphin I'm looking
Anyway,
at.
Oceanside Collegiate there is, it's such a because I think it didn't seem like they did it on purpose, playing the ineligible player, but it just kind of worked out that way. And, the high school league did what they had to do, made it forfeit those games, and it actually, we'll get into this in a minute, John, it kind of worked out in Oceanside Collegiate's favor. We'll get into it in a second.
Yeah.
So, and then our bottom little square off here is between Philip Simmons at 3-6 and Whale Branch at 6-3. John, talk to us about some of these games that jump out to you, or some of your thoughts here on this lower state 2A bracket.
Well, the one that's going to have the spotlight on is clearly Andrews and Oceanside Collegiate.
Yeah.
Andrews is number 9 team in the state. Oceanside, number 4. Obviously, we're talking about those 4 losses that they had to put on their
you don't see a top 10 matchup in round 1 of the playoffs.
And those were blowout wins.
Yeah,
well.
close games.
Those weren't 1-point games where, they had some Jadevion Clowney like 9th grader out there.
Yep. Thank you, Hunter Allen, for clarifying the Dolphins. Appreciate it.
All right, good. We got it right. But, it's tough that Andrews has to draw this card. And it's tough for Oceanside, too, because these kids, that's not their decision.
Mm-hmm.
Whatever the rules are. I would highly, highly doubt the coaches at Oceanside did on purpose.
Right.
So, it stinks for them, too. The rules are the rules, and the SCHL they have to enforce them.
Mm-hmm.
But, it's tough for them. But Andrews, hey, here's a chance. Let's take advantage of it.
Yeah,
if they can jump out, get a good start, who knows what can happen.
Yeah, and a game I'm very interested in, John, is this game between Mullins and Bamberg Earhart here. Bamberg Earhart is, like I said, perennially a power in 2A. They kind of slipped down this year with a 7-3 record, finished a 3 seed out of that Region 5, which is very tough. We talked about how good that region is there with a couple of
Barnwell's in.
Yeah, exactly. So Bamberg Earhart and Mullins, both teams at 7-3.
Mullins had a great year.
Mullins had a good year. It's interesting to see how well they can play at home against Bamberg Earhart and that squad there. But like I mentioned, how this game kind of works out for Oceanside Collegiate is that now they're at the bottom half of the bracket, which means they don't have to face Timberland or Barnwell until a potential lower state championship game.
Right. This will be their toughest game until then.
Yeah, I think John, you've got the rankings there. If I'm not mistaken, number 1 is going to be Abbeville there in 2A. But then I think, is it 2, 3, and 4 are all in the lower state?
So Bamberg Earhart is 10.
Okay.
Timberland is 5.
Okay.
Barnwell is 2, and then we talked about Andrew is 9, and Oceanside Collegiate.
Okay, so basically Oceanside Collegiate can avoid the second best and fifth best team in 2A until that lower state championship. So all I have to play is Andrews here in round 1.
They'll only have to play one of those.
Yep. So that kind of works out for them, really. Obviously, they got to go on the road a few more times here now, things like that. But the way the bracket falls, I think it actually kind of worked out for the Dolphins.
And the way that works out, so Oceanside, say they work their way down and they play Barnwell in that lower state championship, the way the bracket is written, Oceanside would get to host.
Okay. That would be interesting there to see how that worked out. If they get to that point, John, my favorite, like I said earlier, is Barnwell in 2A. I think they're going to win it, and I think they're going to represent lower state. Who do you think here is your favorite in lower state 2A?
I think Barnwell will too, but I think that Oceanside game, if they reach them, that's going to be a tough game, especially after they go down there. It's a little bit of a trip to go down there, and Oceanside, if they rip off a couple wins, they're going to have a little bit of a chip on their shoulder. About this whole ruling. That could be a tough game. And the game that I think could really be tough for Barnwell too is if they meet up with Bamberg Earhart in the 3rd round.
Yeah, they've already beat Bamberg Earhart one time this year, I believe. But that's always a tough team to play. So that could certainly be the one scare that they may get here before they get to the lower state final and in the state championship after that. So let's move on to the upper state here, John, in 2A. Teams we know a little bit more about around here. So we'll start off with the 1 seed in the upper state, Southside Christian with a 9-1 record. Their one loss was to Abbeville. No shame in that at all. But they beat some good programs like a Saluda this year and a couple of really good 2A teams. They're playing 96 with a 4-6 record. Batesburg Leesville is the number 2 seed out of Region 2 with a 6-4 record. They'll play Central with 5-5 record out of Region 4. Buford at 7-4 will play C.A. Johnson at 4-6. Blacksburg at 6-4 will play Saluda at 8-3. Abbeville, the best team in 2A, everybody says. The Region 2 champion at 10-0 will play Louisville at 4-6. Andrew Jackson at 9-1 will host Christchurch at 4-6. Gray Collegiate at 7-3 plays Fox Creek at 5-5. And then St. Joseph's at 9-1. Their long loss was to Southside Christian. They will play Lee Central, who is 5-4. John, I think in this top half of the bracket, in my opinion, there's really two. Like I said, really in all of 2A, there's one monster team that's Abbeville, and there's a bunch of pretty good teams right under it, like a Saluda, like a Barnwell, like a Southside Christian. I think that we're going to looking at the way the bracket lays out. I think we're looking at a Abbeville Southside Christian rematch for Upper State here in a few weeks.
I think so too, but I think Southside's going to have a lot tougher, or Abbeville rather is going to have a lot tougher go because I'm looking through here out of the top 10 teams. This lower half of the bracket,
right?
When we're talking about Upper State, or the upper part of the lower state bracket was tough. The lower portion of the Upper State bracket is really tough. The second round, Abbeville most likely is going to see Andrew Jackson.
What is that? What are they, 9-1?
9-1
team in round 2. Yeah, it's a tough matchup.
Yeah, that's a really good team, and you expect Abbeville to host that game. And that's a team they probably don't know a whole lot about. I don't know how many. I don't think there's a whole lot of common opponents because, as we talked about with 1A and 2A, the classifications are a little bit wild.
Right.
You got Andrew Jackson out of Lancaster County, Abbeville down in Abbeville County. They're not going to have a whole lot of common opponents. The tape is going to be a little bit tougher to dissect for these stats.
Yeah, and what you'll see, I think a lot of the conferences in this level are a little bit smaller too, because you'll see so basically the 1 seed out of Andrew Jackson's region is Buford, who finished 7-4, while the 2 seed Andrew Jackson finished 9-1. So I guess just you don't have as many conference games, so you lose the wrong one, you get kind of messed up there. But like I said, that's Abbeville's got a tough road, but I think they will go through that. They're just too good not to, in my opinion. And like I said, I think they're going to beat Southside Christian again to go to the state championship. That was a tough game earlier this year. Abbeville beat them, I think, by about a touchdown or so. A lot of turnovers kind of on both sides, but
I want to say that game was in Abbeville as well.
I think so. Southside Christian, a lot of firepower. The Hertzberg kid at quarterback, the Pinckney kid at running back. You saw them last year, John.
And they
can score it. They can throw it around.
They're you expect 1A and 2A ball to be a little bit sloppier play, a little bit rough around the edges. I was very impressed with Southside last year. And a lot of these same kids, they have some big guys at running back. To give people some perspective, they remind me a little bit of Boston College.
Okay.
They've got 2 really good, big-time running backs, big-bodied running backs, kind of like an A.J. Dillon and a David Bailey. Well, they can just hand it to those guys, and it says, hey, try to stop us. And I don't think there's a whole lot of teams in here, except for probably Abbeville. They can do it.
Yeah.
And they're just well coached. They hang on to the football. They don't try to do anything out of their means. They know what they're good at, and they do it. Yeah,
so, kind of going back to it, I think I'm seeing a Southside Christian Abbeville matchup here in Upper State, and I think we're going to see Barnwell and Oceanside Collegiate clash in the Lower State for the final. And then, I think the championship is going to come down to Abbeville and Barnwell again, a repeat of last year.
I do. I agree as well. I think Barnwell's going to win.
You think so?
I think Barnwell's
going to win. That Barnwell team returned a lot of really good players. The quarterback, the Pender kid's back. Their big-time linebacker, Deshaun Watson, not the guy you're thinking of. Really good linebackers back for them. They got a couple good receivers back. They've got a good lineman, Briggs Curse. I think he's going to play at some college ball as well. So that team's got some players, and they can certainly do it. Obviously, probably the familiarity will help out a little bit. Played them last year, kind of got a little feel for it now. So that will be a good ball game. I don't know if I can quite pull the trigger on that. I'll make an official prediction for the playoffs start Friday, but I'm going to hold off right now. But I think those 2 teams, Abbeville and Barn, will play again for the 2A state championship.
And that would be a great game.
Yeah. Anything else you got for us here on 2A, John, before we get back into, some 3A action here?
Just my personal bias growing up watching Andrew Jackson play.
Yeah.
I would love to see them make a move.
Hey,
make a choice.
They've got the team this year for it, it seems like.
And they growing up, watching Lugoff play them, Lugoff would win about 50%. Okay. This is a 3A team going against, at the time, Andrew Jackson was a 1A team.
Right.
And I was like, man, those boys just beat them up. Where are they finding these big kids?
Yeah.
And Andrew Jackson was always decent.
Yeah.
But now this got to be the best team they've had in years.
Probably.
When I say years, probably 10, 15 years.
Yep.
So I would love to see them make some moves, but they've got a tough road to go.
They do. Abbeville in round 2 is going to be tough to get through, but we'll see what happens. But anyway, John Epps, Kevin Thomas here, Moving the Chains. Our 1A, 2A, 3A playoff preview is live and happening right now. Thank you guys for tuning in on Facebook, Moving the Chains SC. If y'all also want to follow us on Twitter at Moving Chains, that's great. MOVINCHAINS. This will be up on our podcast stuff here tonight or in the morning, also on YouTube. You can get us on Google Podcast, Apple Podcast, Spotify, wherever you check us out. If you want to listen to it on the way to work or the gym, we're there for you. So be sure to tell your friends. I don't see any other shows around the state doing playoff previews besides us, John. So I think we've kind of got a monopoly on that. So
I won't mention the website, but I saw a 2019 season preview.
Oh, that's what we need right now. We need that.
That was something that I hadn't seen on this particular website till this week. So
yeah, so you guys,
I hope they're pretty accurate on that.
Yeah, I hope y'all share and tell your friends. I'd love to get this out as big as we can. So a lot of good viewers now. I see Brian over there, Haley, Hunter, Ashley, Randy, Tim, Danielle. Appreciate you guys for tuning in. Love it. Hit that star button or hit that like button, hit that heart button. Turn on your notifications. We're doing live tomorrow night for 4A and 5A, which are the ones that people here in the upstate really care about. It's ones that people in the state get excited about because they just know more of the teams. So tomorrow night should be really fun. But we're going to give one more quick shout out here to our sponsor, the Georgia Agency. Call those guys for all your insurance needs, whether you're a seasonal worker, hospitality worker, a small business owner. If you need insurance for your company or for yourself personally, give those guys a call. Open enrollment is going on now. They've been serving the area, really the whole state, like 35 plus years now. They got offices in Mullins and Murrells Inlet. but they can help you out no matter where you're located in the state, John. They've got clients in Augusta and Aiken and Columbia and Greer, at the beach, like I said, at Seneca. Wherever you are, they can help you out. So give those guys a call at the Georgia Agency. Also, shout out to our sponsor, Always on Top Clothing, Always on Top brand on Facebook and Twitter. If you're a Tar Heels fan, get you one of these shirts to show off to your Gamecock fans all season long that you guys were on top, just like you were in week 1 with that win. So, John, let's move on to 3A now. We'll start the lower state again if that works for you.
Yeah.
Let's do 3A lower state. So this, I think, John, this is one of my favorite classifications here because I think there's going to be a ton of games. There's going to be a ton of games as soon as week 2, in my opinion, really here. So let's run through the lower state here. What? That's the, is that 4A? What did I just pull up? Yeah, there we go. There we go. Lower state 3A. Sorry about that, guys. Pulling it up now for you. We've got the 1 seed Manning out of Region 7 with a 7-3 record, taking on the 4 seed out of Region 6 Sherrall with a 6-4 record. We've got Strom Thurmond, the 2 seed of Region 5 with an 8-2 record, taking on the 3 seed out of Region 1 Battery Creek at 3-5. Here we go. People's upstart pick. A lot of pick for state champions this year. We have the 1 seed out of Region 6, not the Dillon Wildcats, the Aner Blue Jackets, who knocked off the Dillon Wildcats to earn that honor at 9-0.
They earned it.
Taking on Georgetown, 4 seed out of Region 7 at 3-6. You then see another pretty good ball team here, May River, the 2 seed out of Region 1 at 7-2, hosting Swansea at 4-7 out of Region 5. You then see the other 1 seed here is Gilbert, 9-1 out of Region 5, taking on Ridgeland Hardyville at 2-7. Bishop England at 6-3 will host Lake City at 4-5. And then Wade Hampton at 9-1, not the one up here in Greenville, the Wade Hampton down in Hampton, the 1 seed out of Region 1 at 9-1 will host Edisto, the 4 seed out of Region 5 at 6-4. And then Big Bad Dillon comes in with the 2 seed out of Region 6 with an 8-1 record. They're going to host a pretty good first round opponent, really, John. The 3 seed out of Region 7, Walkamaw at 7-3. So
it's not going to be an easy matchup.
You know,
it's going to be a little bit different for Dillon.
There's a couple games here, John, that I think could be a little iffy for some of the big name players here in the lower state, but I'm excited to see what happens in round 2. I tell you what, John, I mean, even you look at this top game here, a 1 seed against the 4 seed, Manning taking on Sherrall. I mean, the records are not that much different. I could see Sherrall making that game closer than people think it's going to be.
Yeah, it's a Sherrall program. It's got some history. They turn out some good players.
Mm-hmm.
They're no stranger to the playoffs and having success. And Manning really the same as well.
Mm-hmm.
That's a pretty cool matchup there. And then when you go below that, Strom Thurmond, 10th team, playing Battery Creek, not a bad program.
Not at all. Team. Not at all. I think Aner cruises in round 1. I think May River does too. Same thing with Gilbert, looking out playing a 2-7 team there. It works out well for them.
Yeah.
That Bishop England Lake City game, I could see Lake City, the Panthers pulling that victory out. We'll see how that goes. I think Wade Hampton cruises against Edison. I think Dillon probably cruising against Walkamaw as well.
Most likely.
But I think here in round 2, John, you just talked about it. Manning, Strom Thurmond. I mean, Dillon, Wade Hampton, those are some big-name ball games we're going to see as soon as round 2. Even Aner, May River, those are games that you expect you could see in round 3, round 4. Usually, these are going to be high-quality, high competition, big-time football games as early as next Friday night.
Yeah, actually, I think we're off a bracket. Aner would actually be playing May River.
Oh, sorry, Aner, May River.
Thinking both crews.
Yep. Aner, May River, and Manning, Strom Thurmond. That's right. And then Wade Hampton, Dillon, I think could be good as well. So
Gilbert is the Gilbert and Strom Thurmond. Granted, Strom Thurmond would have a tough game playing either Manning or Sherrall, but Gilbert would be the only team as a winner next week that would not have to play a top 10 team in the second round.
And Gilbert's been a 3A power for a while. Maybe power is a stretch because they haven't won a state championship. But they've been making it to round 3, making it to the lower state finals the past 3, 4, 5 years in a row. Yeah. They've got a good program. They could certainly make some noise this year. I think it's hard. I know that Aner beat Dillon in the regular season, but it is hard to go against the Wildcats as the favorite in this lower state, John. What do you think about that?
It's kind of the old adage, fool me once. How's it go? I know the second part is
fool me once, shame on you. Fool me twice, shame on me.
And I think that's not.
Is that it?
That's it.
Yeah.
I think that's kind of the mantra that Dillon has in their head. It kind of, woke them up a little bit.
Yep.
So to speak. I understand the feeling at that game. First half, Dylan was thinking, everything's fine. Then the second half comes around and everything wasn't fine.
Right.
And, that was a position they hadn't been in before. And maybe that makes them better for it.
Yeah.
We'll see.
Yeah, so that should be some good ball games there, John. I think, like I said, I really think we probably see a rematch of that Ainer-Dillon game again in Ainer again on November 29th.
That would be great.
That would be a really good ball game, and I could certainly see that one occurring again here in the lower state. But I mean, that's bracket stacked, John. I mean,
it's gonna be tough.
You've got the rankings written out over there. I mean, every pod just about has a team ranked in the top 10 in it.
Yeah, and it's how they did the bracket in the lower state. It just worked out beautifully.
Mm-hmm.
So it's going to be a lot of fun to watch these teams work their way through. This is definitely a bracket where we can see some upsets.
Yeah. Let's move up to the upper state 3A, John. Maybe we'll kick it back down here in a second, but let's get back up to the upper state here. A team, that I think is kind of flying under the radar here, but they got a number 1 seed. They won their conference with a big win over Seneca last Friday night. Is Pendleton. They're the 1 seed out of Region 1 with a 7-3 record. That's a pretty good football team there. They'll be hosting a team, Region 2, 4 seed. They had to actually beat Carolina last week to get into the playoffs, and that's Southside. This Southside team had some big expectations going into the season. They had a couple big injuries, some quarterbacks, some running backs, things like that. So I know that I don't think they're quite back to full strength. So I don't think they're going to be a takedown Pendleton. If they were at full strength, they would be higher than a 4 seed, obviously.
Oh, yeah.
But that'll be a good game there. You see Woodruff out of Region 2, the 2 seed at 7-3, taking on Indian Land. Always dangerous. 3 seed out of Region 4 at 5-6. They played 11 games somehow there, John. Indian Land did.
Good for them.
Yeah. Then we get the probably the favorite. Maybe by a little bit, probably the favorite in the upper state. The 1 seed out of Region 2, Chapman at 10-0, and they'll take on Liberty out of Region 1 at 3-7. Another good ball game here. Chester at 8-2 will host Newberry at 6-4. Chester ended up with the 2 seed out of that Region 4 behind Camden. Behind Camden there. So good ball game there at Chester. Union County, a team that lost some games early, like they always do, John. They scheduled up early in the season, scheduled some tough ball games, took a few L's, came on at the right time, and they were 1 seed. They won their region at 7-3. And they are going to be hosting Fairfield Central, another dangerous team out of that Region 4 at 5-6.
Yeah, remember Fairfield Central who knocked off
Camden just a few weeks ago. That's right. Seneca, the Region 1 number 2 seed at 4-6, will host Chesney, who also is 4-6. Like we just mentioned, Camden there, the 1 seed out of Region 4 at 9-1, will host Clinton, the 4 seed out of Region 2 at 4-6, and then Broome at 5-5 hosts Powdersville 3-7. Powdersville usually terrible. Congrats to those guys getting in the playoffs. Good job, Patriots at 3-7 getting in there. Maybe you'll make some noise, but I don't know if you will. But good for you guys just to get into the playoffs in the first place.
I doubt it. Powdersville is a volleyball school.
That's very true.
Let's
very
give
true. And
props to
soccer.
them.
And soccer.
They are going for their 3rd straight championship in volleyball, where they have unseated a dynasty in Bishop, England.
That's true.
Bishop
Powdersville Patriots got to go on.
Ran 3A volleyball until here recently. So hats off to the Powdersville volleyball team. Best of luck to them in the state championship here coming up.
Yeah, so a lot of good games here in the upper state, I think, as well, John. I mean, there's some good first-round games, like I mentioned there with Chester, Newberry. I think Union County, Fairfield Central can be very good. Seneca Chesney might be, but that game's not going to make any difference in the long run, I don't think. But a few of these ball games, even a Pendleton, Southside, Woodruff, Indian Land, could be a little tight there for the higher seeds. I think most of the higher seeds keep the chalk here after round 1, but I'm just excited, John. In round 2, we could see Chapman and Chester in round 2. I mean, those are 2 teams that have the capability to win the state championship.
That's a game. If you're able to drive there, I highly recommend.
And get there early. Probably buy tickets on Thursday, Wednesday if you can, because I don't know if you're going to get one. I don't know if you're going to get one at the gate. I'll tell you right now.
Stuff there.
Yeah, that could be a really good ball game. I mean, I think even I think
Union and Fairfield Central in the first round is a really
that is that Union's got a really really good quarterback, the Kashawn Glover kid. I think he's got some college offers. Mobile guy, runs well, throws well. He's a big time player. Like you said, John, those guys always seem to get hot kind of at the right time, it seems like. I know they used to always, they still do, kind of schedule some tough games early. I know they played Chapman, I think, week 1 this year, John. They played, Greer, a 4A team.
Played Chapman first week.
Right. So, so they played Chapman first week. I think they played Greer, early in season 2, who obviously Greer wasn't great this year, but it's a step up to classification of 4A.
Yeah.
They always schedule some tough guys early on in the season. And I think that really helps them. They kind of gel as a team early, take their lumps, take a few L's, still end up winning the region 7-3, and those guys are ready to make a run through the playoffs. Now, if they can get by Fairfield Central, a team that, like you mentioned, is Camden's only loss so far this season.
Yeah, in Fairfield Central, obviously, once you win a game like that, you start to build some confidence and you start to really believe in yourselves. So, and that's Fairfield Central, another program that they typically are a very, very good team.
Yes,
typically very successful. This staff, and I don't know actually how their staff is compared to years past, but it's definitely a program that's used to winning.
Yeah,
they're not going to be intimidated. That's for sure.
That's right. So, John, who are your favorites here in the Upper State? Who do you think we got kind of meeting up in round 3, round 4, and in the Upper State final?
I'm very interested to see that Chapman-Chester game if that comes to fruition. I think Chapman wins. I think Chapman wins that game. But it would be interesting if you're Chester and you make it to that game. Play with nothing to lose. Yeah, because you really don't. And if somebody beats Chapman, nobody's gonna look forward to playing whoever.
I mean, has anybody held Chapman under 50 points this year, John?
So
I think I remember them scoring 45 once, so maybe not under 40, but
I've got their schedule pulled up here. I'm just gonna read you out their scores. And they played somebody notable. Okay, so week 1 we talked about them playing
Union County.
Union County, the number 8 team in the state. They beat them 52-37.
That's a region champion Union County they beat there.
Yeah, beaten by, 4 scores.
Yep.
The next week, they put up 70.
A 2 seed out of a region there at Seneca.
Yep. The next week was their lowest scoring game of the year. Okay? Or, I'm sorry, second lowest scoring game of the year behind last week. 48 on Boiling Springs out of the 5A classification.
And that's a team that made the playoffs.
And they beat them 48-0.
Yeah, that Boiling Springs team is in the playoffs in 5A. So that's a very impressive win there.
The next week they scored 80. The week after that they had their closest game of the entire season. They won by 2 touchdowns over Woodruff. They scored 49.
Okay.
A 2 seed in the playoffs.
Yep.
They scored 49 again on another
2 seed
in the playoffs. Then they scored 64, and then 69 on another playoff team.
Yep.
And then last week was, I guess, their week off. They beat Chesney, another playoff team.
Yep.
35-7.
Yeah, it's interesting to see.
So they're going to score some points.
If John, if Chester can even just make this second half ball game, it's interesting to see how Chapman reacts in a game that might be close. But like you said, they haven't been really, really tested. I mean, they've been, Union County played them kind of tight early. I mean, besides that, there hasn't been a lot of teams that really push those guys. Yeah, and I'm not saying that they can't do it, obviously, but they're a team that's got experience going to Columbia. They've been there as recent as 2 years ago, right, John? I think it was that they took on Dillon. And back-to-back seasons, too, they took on Dillon, I believe.
And that's a game that, if you ask people at Chapman, they're pretty salty about that game because early in the game, their quarterback was phenomenal player for him. Got hit by shot on the sidelines, went out of the game, did not come back, and Dillon ended up kind of rolling in that game. But totally different game when the best one on your team goes out.
I mean that quarterback that Chapman has, McKaylee Colasardo, going to Georgia Southern, really, really good football player. They got 2 really good running backs. Is it Deontay Smith? I think is one of the guys' names. Anyway, 2 really good running backs. I mean, those guys can put up points on anybody. I think you're going to have to score 40 to beat these guys, I think, John.
You are. And, I think Chester is the kind of team that can go up to Chapman and can roll up some points, too. This team that scored 48 on a 5A Fort Mill team.
Yep.
They can play. They scored 33 on a good Lancaster team. They've got games where, they went 55, 51 back-to-back weeks.
I think they're going to need it. They're going to need it.
And but you know what? Here's also what makes this classification my favorite one. So we talk about how Chester, they're a really good team, right? They lost to Camden 28-7.
Yeah. who's the one
You know?
seed down there in the lower half of the upper state bracket.
Their only other loss was to a 5A Rock Hill team.
Yep.
But, you know, this Camden team, they probably had the firepower as good as anybody outside of Chapman in this bracket. But can they do it? Can they do it every week?
Yep.
Because we've seen when they went down to Fairfield Central, they just didn't have it.
Yeah.
So this is going to be a fun one to watch.
Yeah.
And I hope all three of these teams don't trip up, because seeing Chapman, Chester, and even Union County.
Yeah, Union and Camden too in that bottom half are going to be really good if we get a matchup
that's going to be
from those
really
two.
fun to see that pan out, see these teams meet up down the road.
John, I got to put you on the spot. What are you thinking here? Upper state.
I just can't. I can't go against Chapman. I
Can't go against Chapman. That's a good pick.
I can't do it.
That's a good pick.
But
That's a good
I think
pick.
I'm going to go. I think what's going to be interesting, I think Chester's going to give them all they want.
Mm-hmm.
I think that's going to be a really good game. But I think they'll meet Camden for the Upper State Championship.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that's going to be their toughest game.
Yeah.
You know, Dillon gets to Columbia. That's going to be a lot of fun.
Yep.
But if you can get through Camden and Chester, that's going to be
That'll be impressive.
That's
That'll be
very
impressive. That'll be impressive. So, once again, I am Kevin Thomas here alongside John Epps, Moving the Chains. We're doing our single A, double A, and triple A pre-layoff previews tonight. Tomorrow night we've got 4A and 5A, the big boys coming up for. We've got a lot of really good stuff planned, John. I'm excited to talk about those teams. If you guys are checking us out on Facebook, we appreciate it. You know, like, comment, share, tell your friends, set up your notifications so you'll know tomorrow night when we go live. Probably around 8 o'clock, we're thinking, John. Is that okay with you? Maybe a little bit later, earlier, we'll see. But probably in that ballpark is what we're looking at. Follow us on Twitter as well at Movin Chains, MOVINCHAINS. We've got some really good stuff coming for you this weekend. We'll be at some games Friday night doing you some live updates. So you want to follow us on that as well. John, are we going to do a recap show Friday night after the games? Are we going to do some scores or no? What are we thinking?
You know what? If people say, hey, they want to see some recap, maybe we'll do it.
Okay.
I know we didn't do it last year.
Right.
So
we'll see. We'll see.
Yeah, we'll see.
We'll
how
be
it
back.
goes.
But yeah, so we're excited to kind of get these playoffs started, John. You know, and I wanted to make this point here after I give our sponsor another shout out. The Georgia Agency down there in Mullins and Rolls Inlet. Call them for all of your insurance needs. If you're a person who needs insurance for yourself or need it for your business, call Richard Browley and the crew. Check them out at thegeorgiaagency.net online and the Georgia Agency on Facebook. You know, open enrollment is happening now. You have to have insurance. It's legally something you have to do. So give those guys a call. Check them out at the Georgia Agency. And then also check out our sponsor, Always on Top. Always on Top Clothing, Always on Top brand on Facebook and Instagram. Order their shirts. They have some really good products, some new stuff coming out too, some other games here. But remind those Gamecock fans, if you're a Tar Heel, that you guys are always on top.